Righto, we are live. I posted the other day that I was going to do some how-to videos on some various topics. One of the easiest ones to start with is just top loaders and sleeves. Pretty simple sort of stuff, but I mean, there's a lot of new collectors out there that may or may not know that there's various size cards and various size sleeves. You need to keep them in top loaders and protecting those cards. So, thought I'd just do a quick one on this. So here we go. Give us some feedback. Jump in the comments if you like. I like talking to people. Okay, look, there are various thicknesses of cards. There are various sizes. There are various sleeves to keep them all in. This Prism LeBron card is your most basic standard basketball football card. All right, 35 point. All right, this one. This is an Ultra Pro regular top loader. They're one of my favorites. They tend to be produced the best. A lot of the cheaper brands, Select sometimes, they've been pretty good lately. You'll find the top loaders get a bit stuck together and you end up chucking a few in the bin. But that's a standard size, 35 point. From there, we move up to a 55 point, which is the next size up. There, from there to 100 point. Something like this Mika Parsons here, we're going to 130. And then something like a National Treasures card, which is a little bit thicker again. We're looking at a 180 point. Pokemon, different again. It's one of my young blokes, Charizard cards. I don't think it's particularly valuable, that one. But they are a different size. One touches, team bags, and we'll get into it. So, thick card sleeves. So I got these from Select Australia. They're pretty cheap. They're only like $3.95 a packet. So these ones will take from 130 to 360 point. And then I use these Ultra Pro card sleeves, which take your 35s and your 55 point cards pretty easily. All right, get into it. So LeBron, standard card. Got a bit sticky in there. Come on, LeBron. You're holding the show up. It's got a bit stuck for whatever reason. Must have been in there for a while. All right, there he is. Quite a thin card. Don't worry too much about the bend in it. That'll sort itself out on a top loader. So there's your 35 point card. We're using the standard sleeve. Now we see inside the standard sleeve, there's a little bit of wiggle room. Now it's important that we stick it in the 35 point top loader. If we get it in the 35 point top loader, it doesn't want to fall out. All right, if we got the wrong size and we end up moving up to a 55 point top loader, it's very easy for our LeBron to start falling out. All right, so it will fit in a 55. You can use a 55, but if you're going to send these cards in a bigger top loader, you need to be aware they can slide out. If they slide out in your package, they're going to get damaged. So, standard size card, 35 points, 35 point top loader. In we go. Pokemon are funny. Pokemon are a little bit thinner than a standard 35 point. So I've got that in the standard sleeve. Those ones. If I stick that in a 35 point top loader, look how easy he wants to come out. So Pokemon, you actually need to get a different size sleeve. They make them particularly for Pokemon cards. That's one there. It's closer to a 25 point. So get him in there nice and snug. I don't like to jam cards in with my finger. I like to sort of push them in. Just see that again. Now he's come out the sleeve as well. The sleeve's slightly too big. In the sleeve, get the corner in, push him down till I get to there where it gets a bit firm, and then I just use my hand to get him down into the bottom. All right, 100 points. Now, if I try and stick a 100 point card into one of these sleeves, I'll probably get it, But I've got that pushed up there. Now, what's happening as I'm trying to push that in, that corner there is wanting to flare up. Thicker cards are notorious for having softer edges. So I can jam that into a 35, but there's a likely chance I'm going to damage that corner. If I want to, I've got nothing else. If you cut the corner off, you will be able to make that work without damaging the corner. So that's going into a standard size sleeve. Now, 100-point top loader. It's sometimes funny, these cards, but we get him in there and we see that one don't want to fall out. Now, next size up is we go to 130 points. Now, 130 points is a bit of an odd size, and cards are a little bit odd. Sometimes cards are like a 140, 150, and they don't want to do. Skip 55s. 55, when you look at the edge, a little bit thicker. Still going to a standard size sleeve, and then we slip him into a 55-point top loader. Nice and firm. All right, Mika in the 130 point. He ain't coming out. So this guy, we're using the thicker card sleeves. 130 to 360 points. We've got him into a 130-point top loader there, and he doesn't want to move. This is one I got from Tommy. All right. Nuno Mendes. Now, this particular card is a little bit thick. So get to these 130 points and they want to get caught and get jammed. You don't want to keep pushing that. I can force that all the way down in there. In this case, we've had to go to a 180 point. Now, that's all cool if we go to a 180 point, but we'll see that the card wants to slide out. If we've got no other choice, we use one of them and we grab ourselves one of these team bags again. Look at these from Select Australia. You can get Ultra Pro ones. You can get any sort of brand. It don't matter. We chuck him in a team bag with that card just being a slightly wrong size. Fold the top over. Now, that card's still going to want to move, but it ain't going to slide out of the sleeve. So that's how we can get around that. I will generally put the really high-end cards. I'll chuck them in a team bag before I send them away. All right. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on real quickly is one-touches. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. I know a lot of people like one-touches. I'm not a big fan because they can damage cards, particularly postage. So getting cards posted out in one-touches is not a good idea. I've had far too many of them damaged. I'm not going to argue with anyone. My personal preference is I don't like them. All right, I'm going to show you why. Okay, this is a 100-point top loader. It's a beat-up one. So we'll get a 100-point card. Now, hey, Glenn. All right, so there he is sitting in his one touch. Now, it might be tough to pick up on the camera, but see how there's just that little bit of movement in that one touch? So that card's free to wobble up and down. Now, if I was just going to put this on display in my cabinet or on display, no problem. Pop him in your one touch, put him up on the board, right, and be done with it. It ain't going to move. If you're going to post the card like this, though, you can imagine that the vibrations of the truck and the postage, that particular card is just going to move ever so slightly. Now, on a card like this, pretty durable sort of surface, those acetate cards, particularly Immaculates, those super fine movements will make super fine scratches on your card. Prism's really notorious for it. So if you're getting cards delivered, ask them to just come in a sleeve and a top loader. Just say, take it out of the one touch for me, please. If you want the one touch, say, yeah, send that too. But I want it sent in a sleeve and a top loader. That's the most secure. As I said, I don't know if you can see that card moving up and down. Now, people do it. What I like to do, if I have to insist on a one touch, repack products look nicer. A one touch looks much nicer than a top loader. Bit of wobbling around there. What I'll do is actually pop a sleeve, not in the sleeve. I'll just pop the sleeve on top. And that way, if that card's moving around inside there, it ain't going to get scratched. So that's a way of dealing with one touches. All this stuff's pretty cheap, guys. Not much in cards is cheap, but top loaders are cheap. I think they're about $6 or $7. You get 25 of them. Pretty much the same all the way through. Once you get to your big boys, they're a little bit dearer. All these ones you get on the Select Australia website, pretty cheap. These combos aren't a bad deal. There's 25 top loaders and 25 card sleeves, all sorted up. That's a standard size 35 point that you can pick them up too. These things $2.95, $3.95 for 100. I don't think they're $3.95 or something for 100. That was it. Done and done. We'll keep going with topics. I'm going to cover one on buying cards next. Buying cards on Facebook and dealing with people over Facebook or even eBay, but Facebook in particular. So, yeah, we'll cover that topic next, maybe even this afternoon. I've got some examples to use there so you don't get burnt. And sort of a lot of owners, I put a lot of owners on buyers rather than sellers. You need to be aware as buyers that there are unscrupulous sellers out there, so you need to protect yourself. All right, I haven't even had a look, John Carter. Those races are too big. Too many chances. All right, champions, thank you very much. See ya.